Hello, this is Gary at Bushcraft. Thank you for watching our video. This week I'm going to talk a little about collecting birch bark for fire lighting. Birch is a fantastic tree for us when it comes to fire lighting. It's a tree that's always worth trying to find, and it shouldn't be too difficult. Birch is the second most common species in the British Isles after oak, and it'll grow in a wide variety of habitats. So it'll grow in the woods, it'll grow on the coast, on heathland, moorland, so you are never likely to be too far from a birch. And as I say, it is definitely worth your while trying to find one. So the bark makes an excellent tinder for our fire lighting. So it's one that will work certainly when it's damp. I do see people online and so on saying you can use it when it's wet. I've not had an awful lot of success with bark that is wet. I have had some success with bark that is damp, however. So it'll work when it's damp. The big advantage here, it gives you a flame. So we can use a ferro rod, for instance, to light that birch bark, and it gives us a flame. It removes that step of having to do a tinder bundle. So that's always an advantage. So when it comes to collecting the bark, what we're looking for are these kind of bits. So this sort of curl here that's coming away from the tree, like that. And so we can peel this off without harming the tree. In fact, this bark peeling like this is a part of the tree's natural process. So it sheds its bark, we are not harming it. So this is always going to be my preferred method for collecting birch bark, because as I say, there's no harm involved to the tree by doing it this way. So, and you can see here quite quickly, I've already got a little bit there. So sometimes you can find a tree, a bit like this one in fact, where the bark is peeling quite profusely. Sometimes you'll come up to the tree and it's just not peeling at all. And in those circumstances, really just kind of wander on a couple of meters and you're sure to come across another one that is peeling nicely. So I'm getting all of this here, really simple, fantastic tinder, and we're not causing any harm to the tree. And I'm kind of making a bit of a big deal of this causing no harm to the tree, because there is another way that you could source bark from a birch, but it does involve harming the tree, certainly if you do it to a live one. Now I spend a lot of my time not just in my own wood, but just kind of wandering around the British countryside in general, in woodlands up and down the country, and it is not uncommon to come across birch that have had a section of the bark cut out with a knife. This does harm the tree, so I would very much counsel against that particular approach. So don't start cutting pieces of bark out of a live tree, because it will cause it harm. And the reality is, more often than not, it is unnecessary, because there are so many around where the bark is just peeling anyway. If you are struggling to find a birch that is peeling, that is giving up its bark readily, then another approach is to cut the bark off, but cut it off a dead tree. So there's a dead birch here right in front of me, and so I can very simply take a section of the bark off here using a small folding knife, can remove sections of bark a bit like this, and then all I need to do is again just use a knife, and I could scrape this up like that, just using the edge of my knife there. I can make that nice and fluffy, nice and fibrous, and again I can take a ferrocerium rod to that and it will produce a good hot flame. So two approaches there, guys. One is peeling bark off a live tree, which isn't going to cause it any harm, and the other is cutting a section of bark off, but from a dead tree. Either of those methods are going to be useful for you when it comes to lighting a fire in the woods. So I hope that is going to be of use to you on your own bushcraft adventures, something that you can take with you. I will endeavour to get some more content out next week. Make sure you don't miss out on that. You can subscribe either to our YouTube channel or to our blog, both of which are Jack Raven Bushcraft. In the meantime, take care.